As the video game industry is expanding and improving every single day, many people get nostalgic about the old days when retro gaming was just normal entertainment. Of course, these games are often holed up in basements and attics until they are found decades later. Sometimes, though, what you dig out of the box at the back of your closet can make you a few dollars, maybe even thousands. After watching this video, we are sure that you are going to want to clean out your garage. Do you have any of these video games? If so, it might be time to cash in. Here are the 10 most expensive video games ever that have been sold on eBay. Welcome to The Ardent Blogger, a channel for all the curiosity lovers who want to know something different every day. Today, we are back with an amazing video. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you are missing out a lot. Number 10. Final Fantasy II, $2,100. The Final Fantasy series is huge and extremely popular. The very first game of the Everlasting series was released in 1987 in Japan and was widely accepted with positive reviews. Over 1 million copies were sold in Japan alone. In America, another 700,000 copies were sold for the Nintendo Entertainment System. So far, with all its remakes, the game has been purchased 1.99 million times. What makes Final Fantasy II so valuable? Well, it has to be in its original packaging from 1988. Number 9. Batman Forever, $4,200. We all know Batman is a huge franchise, along with Final Fantasy. Everyone loves a good DC comic story. However, when the game Batman Forever was released, the limited edition version was only offered for a certain amount of time. While the game was made for a number of consoles, it is not the game itself that's worth so much. The PAL version was only sold for a limited time in Australia and some places in the United Kingdom. Number 8. Super Mario Bros. 2, $10,000. This is not the last time Super Mario Bros. Would show up on this list. This version is a little different than the rest, though. Similarly to Batman Forever, this game is valuable according to the version you have. In this case, the Asian version is the most valuable. With the cartridge featuring English and Mandarin on it, English seems to be the main language throughout the game. While a cartridge of virtually any condition is bound to make you at least $1,000, the best condition, and maybe even unopened, if possible, can make you a pretty penny. Number 7. Kizuna Encounter, $13,500. This game is the first of many on this list to only have a very limited number of copies throughout the population. Of course, it is not as rare as having one single copy, but Kizuna Encounter was never actually mass-produced for commercial purchase. With there only being 2 or 3 of these floating around, we are surprised to see a price tag so low in terms of retro gaming. The price range most experts would put on a game like this is in the $10,000 to $15,000 range. You could buy a car with that. Number 6. Nintendo Campus Challenge, $20,000. When trying to find the value of a video game, whether it's in the original box, if it's still sealed, and so much are taken into account. Typically, when a cartridge is unwrapped, it will go for almost nothing, regardless of how rare it is. People want mint-condition products. There seems to be an exception for this game. Like the Nintendo World Championships that precedes this game, only a certain number of these were made. What makes it different from many other games is the fact that even loose, the cartridge is worth 20 grand. Number 5. Birthday Mania, $30,000. In the 80s, Atari thought it would be a good idea to make games to order. Buyers simply had to call in, say whose birthday they were celebrating, and then they would get a game in the mail, with the person's name on the cover, as well as in the main menu. You would think that since the game was personalized, no one would really find it that valuable, since it would be a little odd to have someone else's name on the main menu. However, it is important to keep in mind that this was the only way to get the game. Now, very few copies of it exist, making it worth quite a bit of money. Number 4. Stadium Events, $42,000. Stadium Events is a sports fitness game that came with a mat advertised to aid in family health, fitness and fun. The NES game was first released in Japan, but was made available in North America a year later in 1987. In 2017, someone bought the game for a whopping $42,000, which at the time was the most a game has ever sold for. Because they were only sold for a limited time, before they were released by a different game on the shelves, they are incredibly rare and sought after. It is said that one can even sell the box alone for a couple of grand. Number 3. Nintendo World Championships. $100,000. Back in the 90s, when retro gaming was at its peak, many people knew about the Nintendo World Championships, where a series of games were played from one cartridge. Even though people only got one chance to complete the once-in-a-lifetime competition, this made the 116 golden cartridges that were made even more valuable. On each one, 3 games were loaded and ready to go: Super Mario Bros., Rad Racer, and Tetris. A few years ago, one of these cartridges in acceptable condition went for $100,000. Can you imagine what one in mint condition would go for? Number 2. Super Mario Bros. $100,100. Super Mario Bros., as we know it now, is much different than the iconic game was when it was first launched in the 1980s. Before the game was fully released, bundled with the console it was made for, Nintendo pushed out a few copies in North America. While back then it was more so just the excitement of getting the game before everyone else, it is now worth thousands of dollars. According to Kotaku, an online gaming news site, the only noticeable difference between the pre-released game and the rest of them is a small black sticker on the box. Who knew a sticker could be so expensive? Number 1. Gamma Attack. $500,000. When there are only a few copies of a game in the entire world, people go crazy for it. They need this game, and they want it now. What if there is only one copy of a game? Gamma Attack was created to play on the Atari 2600, but one copy was ever made. It was put up on eBay in the late 2000s for $500,000. Right now, the proud owner of the game is world-renowned collector Anthony DiNardo, and he doesn't seem to want to let go of it. And who would? While the game was bought for $500,000, some people say it's really worth around $20,000 to $50,000. We suppose it depends on the buyer. We are glad you have made till the end. We have handpicked the videos which we recommend you watch next. Feel free to talk to us on our social media channels or on our website theardentblogger.com about any recommendations or suggestions.